Class is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to tonight's 30-minute webinar as part of the Foundation for Elite Health series, running from 6 to 6:30 p.m. each weekday throughout May. Many thanks to Kim Bradley for her fascinating introduction to the microbiome last night. I listened in awe of human evolution alongside our microbial communities. My name is Ginny Burges. I'm your host for tonight's webinar on the subject of prebiotics and probiotics. So my professional background is with Qantas Airways and the travel side of Formula One. But in recent years, I decided to follow my creative streak and I became a published fiction author, speaker and blogger. But I'm also an elite health coach with Synergy Worldwide. So I think it's important to note that I don't have a health background. I've not been involved in the health and wellness industry before. I'm not a nutritionist or trainer or health professional like many of the wonderful previous presenters. Just a busy mum of four who is passionate about helping others achieve optimal health. And Synergy has changed my life in so many ways that I don't have time to share. And needless to say, my health and my quality of life has improved massively since I started taking their potent botanical supplements. And another surprise benefit has been, I've learned so much about nutrition in general compared to before that I can now implement in my life for the benefit of my nearest and dearest. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your schedules to listen in tonight. It's a privilege for me to share with you. So let's have a look and see who's on the call with us tonight. We have Rachel Dobson, Peter Ragg, Miriam Oliphant. Good evening, everybody. We have the lovely Lynn Davies and Carla Barber. So good evening and welcome to the call. And we should have on the line, I believe, Marjorie Kerr in Oxfordshire. And I must tell you that Marjorie is actually my wonderful mum. And are you there, Mum?
Hi, Ginny. Yes, I'm here.
Good, good. Welcome aboard. And it kind of feels a bit weird to be talking to you with everyone listening in, but it's really nice. And I know that you had blood pressure issues in the past. Just obviously I remember various times growing up that you had these issues, and it was a great result that you were able to share with Nicola last week when you were talking about cardiovascular health. But over the years you've had different challenges, and I know that you've also had some challenges around digestive health, and it wasn't so long ago. I remember you were in quite a lot of pain. Perhaps you could just expand on that for everyone.
Yes, I was. I was in a lot of pain. I believe, actually, that the root cause of all the pain that I had is a result of my problems that started when I was suffering pelvic inflammatory disease. That was over 20 years ago. And having to take antibiotics on and off for about 2 years. And because they weren't controlling it, I ended up having a hysterectomy. You probably remember when I was in hospital?
I do, actually. I remember it very well. It was quite a scary time for me because I know that was fairly major op.
It was, but anyway, I got over it, and the doctor seemed to think after that I was suffering from irritable bowel, and this went on for many years. And as you say, more recently, it was about 18 months back when I started getting these quite severe abdominal pains. And they were accompanied by constipation and a high temperature. Anyway, the doctor diagnosed diverticulitis, and he prescribed 2 lots of antibiotics, and that caused just the most dreadful diarrhea you can imagine. It was awful, and I was visiting the bathroom for a day and a half. It was terrible. I was absolutely pieces. Anyway, after that, the recovery from that took several weeks, but I never really felt properly better. And I realised that I really had to do something to get my health back on track.
And what did you do as a result of that?
Well, I knew that there was a new innovative purifier program from Synergy that had been developed, and that would help put back the good bacteria. Because I realised that having had these antibiotics, I couldn't have had any good bacteria left at all. And
I know
so
2 years is a long time, isn't it, to be taking them? It must have destroyed your gut.
I don't think I had an ounce of good bacteria in me, really. I just wanted to, get the good bacteria in to help it flourish again. So I decided.
And how did you find the Purify?
I found it worked really, really well. By the end of the first day, the crippling pain that I had gone, and I didn't get any more constipation at all. It was almost as if my bowels had gone back to normal again. And I noticed also that I'd lost, I think it was about a stone in weight. I also had more energy, and something that I'd always struggled with in the past, but it was a real relief not to have the pain, I must say. And I felt more relaxed and calm. And I was able to up my exercise and walk every day. I was doing between 5 and 10K pretty much every day. And it's also given me the freedom to pursue my hobbies and to be able to go out and enjoy the walks again. So
So it's basically had a huge impact on your quality of life, and obviously it's given me peace of mind, and it's wonderful for me to see you so fit and active. And I know my kids are also very proud to have a granny glider pilot, and you've got the energy to go out and fly now. So thanks so much, Mum, for sharing.
You're very, very welcome. Pleasure.
Great to have you. So we'll just have a quick look up and see. We've probably got some more people joining. So welcome to Helen Fetzer. Hello to Joe Waterford. Hope you're all having a lovely evening. And welcome to the call. And I'd like to say a big welcome to Kathleen White, who is up in Edinburgh. Good evening, Kathleen.
Good evening, Jenny.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm very well, yeah.
Good. Now, I know that Kathleen, you have a background in nursing and more recently in nutrition and therapies, and you've also had somewhat of an interesting childhood, I believe.
Yes, Jenny, I didn't think it was very interesting at the time. In fact, I thought it was a bit deprived. I was brought up on a dairy farm, and I thought, when I think about prebiotics and probiotics, I thought I discovered them in about 1970. But in fact, I was weaned and reared on them. We had our own vegetables that we picked from the field, and that's prebiotics. So we had them fresh and organic, and we had our dairy, we made our butter and cheese, and we had our fermented milk. So I was having what you would call, it was like a yogurt. So I was having that without realizing it. So I was a very lucky child and a very healthy child. Yes.
You were ahead of the curve.
I was indeed, Jenny. Yes.
And I'm looking forward to hearing your story. Perhaps you'd be able to share with us.
Yes, I have nursed hundreds of patients through cancer and cared for them and supported them. And I've seen the worst and the best of treatment. But in 2017, someone very close to me started on high-dose chemotherapy for breast cancer. Now, we need a healthy gut to fight cancer, but chemotherapy destroys the gut. So we finish up with an unhealthy gut. So I offered to help with gut-enhancing foods, but her husband was one step ahead with the state-of-the-art juicer, and he juiced all their own homegrown veg and provided great prebiotics. He prepared healthy, appetizing meals with fermented foods, giving her probiotics. And she also took the Synergy V3 products, which most people will know is Phytolife, that provides an alkaline environment that inhibits cancer cells, Mystify, which is full of antioxidants and repairs damaged cells, including cancer cells, and Phytolife, which improves circulation, and that helps every system in the body.
Oh, the proarginine.
Unfortunately,
Yes.
the proarginine, yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately, she was unable to eat enough of this due to the chemo side effects, nausea and poor appetite. So she got started on the Synergy Biome shake for the protein and prebiotics. And Synergy Biome for probiotics. And she found them very easy to take. And the chemo had also caused severe nerve damage and had to be stopped.
Oh,
prematurely.
Isn't it the way, you know, there's so often the so-called cure, it can do more harm than good.
Yes, yes. But the story that it does have a good outcome. The surgery was planned for August and it was brought forward to May. Now, all through the 2 or 3 months, she was having regular scans and this tumor was shrinking at an unbelievable rate. And when surgery did come, to cut a long story short, there was just no tumor left, not a trace of it. But the site was explored and biopsied and definitely no cancer cells found. Now she went along with the radiotherapy after that, because that's the protocol, and she was advised to have 70 grams of protein a day. And this just wasn't possible because her appetite was still a bit small. But the biome shake helped with that because it's got 40 grams of protein in a portion. So that helped her through the radiotherapy. The recovery. And she made a fantastic recovery. I have to say, she was back on the ski slopes and the running circuit by November. And I'm convinced that the pre and probiotics that she had complemented her chemotherapy. It definitely complements chemotherapy and other harsh treatments.
Oh, well, that's amazing. And what a wonderful result for her and such a relief for you all. So it sounds like, you know, obviously alongside the difficult treatments that she had to undergo, she had a positive mindset alongside healthy eating and supplementing with the Synergy products to make up the shortfall, which supported her immune system to enable her to produce the best outcome possible. And it highlights really that when the body has enough of what it needs, that it can heal itself. And that's just such...
Yeah, and I have to say that it enabled her and her husband and family to do self-help, and that's the new healthcare. And health is wealth. So
I couldn't agree more, Kathleen, and it's such an inspiring story, and I'm very grateful to you for sharing it with us this evening.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thanks a lot, Kathleen. So
thank you.
I'll try not to run over time. I have got a lot to share with you, a lot of great information. And we heard last night in brilliant detail from Kim all about the trillions of microbes that make up our inner ecosystem, our microbiome, which is unique to each individual. So let's start by covering in layman's terms what actually are prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics are the foods that contain non-digestible fibers that feed the gut bacteria in the microbiome, which are the probiotics. So essentially, prebiotic compounds become nutrient sources or fuel for the beneficial bacteria that live within the gut. And once they pass through the small intestine without being fully broken down either by the gastric acids or digestive enzymes, they bring about positive changes. And when they reach the colon, they are then fermented by the gut microflora. It's a veritable banquet for your bacteria. And as our gut bacteria metabolize these otherwise non-digestible fibers from foods, they produce short-chain fatty acids. I'm just trying to change my screen over. There we go. So you can see some nice visuals as I speak. So one of these, the way that short-chain fatty acids, they actually help us in many ways. And one of the ways they help us is inhibiting the growth of harmful bacteria. And one of these beneficial fatty acids is called butyric acid. And this actually helps to regulate electrolyte levels in the body, including sodium, magnesium, calcium, and water, which are also important for proper digestion, producing bowel movements and preventing diarrhea and so on. So we need dietary fibre on a daily basis, and a diet low in prebiotics can aggravate indigestion, higher levels of inflammation, lower immune function, a higher likelihood of weight gain, and a raised risk for various chronic diseases. You know, when I first learned about the microbiome, it blew my mind a bit. And to be honest, it still does. You know, to think that only around 10% of our cells contain our human DNA, and the fact that there are more microbes living in the digestive tract than there are cells in the body. And one of the key points to remember is that the bacteria, they follow the diet and not the other way around. So diversity is important. In other words, if you eat poorly, the bad bacteria will increase, and then you are at risk of dysbiosis, which is an imbalance or overgrowth of pathogenic organisms within the gut. But if you eat for your microbiome, then you will encourage the good bacteria. So whatever you eat affects your microbiota, both the good and the bad. So it's worth remembering that you never dine alone. And research has shown that higher intakes of prebiotic foods, they can increase numerous friendly probiotic microorganisms, including Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG, L. reuteri, bifidobacteria, and certain strains of L. casei or the L. acidophilus group. I absolutely love their names. In many prebiotic foods, they are rich in the carbohydrate inulin. And some excellent prebiotic foods include chicory root, which is about 65% inulin. And this is what's used by Synergy in their protein and nutraceutical supplements. And then you've got Jerusalem artichokes, which microbes absolutely love. It's also chock full of inulin. And because it has a mild taste, I often grate it into, you know, dinner, into soups and stews and curries, to kind of hide it really and make sure that my family are getting enough of a nutrition. Underripe bananas are good. Psyllium husk is another one, which is also used in some of Synergy's products. You've got asparagus, leeks, onion, garlic. You may not like the garlic breath, but they are good. Things like cold potato, which is higher in resistant starch, and apples, obviously with the peel on, because that contains polyphenols. And I'll talk a bit about those in a second. You've got oats, obviously great for breakfast, legumes, fennel, and pak choi. And so when it comes to polyphenols, things such as extra virgin olive oil, turmeric, high concentration cocoa powder, so around about 80%. So you should avoid the sweet milky stuff. Don't do a Bridget Jones on Galaxy. And then you've got purple coloured berries and veg, things like blueberries, beetroot and red cabbage, etc. Unsalted nuts are another great source of polyphenols, things like almonds and walnuts. They have a great fibre and polyphenol content, as well as protein and healthy fats. And many fruits and vegetables offer potent antioxidant protection. And you will be pleased to know that red wine, in moderation of course, has around 100 different polyphenols, providing a diverse chemical feast. So prebiotics, they're essential as they can help lower inflammation, which is one of the root causes of diseases, including Western nations' #1 killer, heart disease. There was a study in 2007, which was published in the Journal of Nutrition, that found that prebiotics enhance the absorption of all minerals in the body, including magnesium, which many people are deficient in, possibly iron and calcium. So all of these are crucial for retaining strong bones and preventing fractures or osteoporosis. And in one study, just 8 grams of prebiotics a day was shown to have a big effect on the uptake of calcium in the body that led to an increase in bone density. So that's another amazing benefit. Probiotics are the living bacteria that primarily line your gut, and they're responsible for nutrient absorption and supporting your immune system. And the microbiome helps to maintain the integrity of the gut wall and prevent intestinal permeability, which we call leaky gut. And you should be able to see a nice visual there from Dr. Axe, which sort of shows you what happens with leaky gut. And, you know, the last thing we want is for endotoxins from harmful pathogens to escape through the gut lining into the bloodstream, where they can cause absolute havoc with your health. If you don't have enough probiotics, the side effects can include digestive disorders such as Crohn's disease, skin issues, candida overgrowth, autoimmune disease, allergies, depression, brain fog, frequent colds and flu, and more seriously, metabolic dysfunction. So historically, we have plenty of probiotics in our diet from eating fresh foods from good soil and by fermenting our foods to keep them from spoiling. You know, in Kathleen's story of her childhood on the dairy farm, it's a brilliant example of that. However, today, because of refrigeration, dangerous agricultural practices, over-farming and pesticide use, our food contains little to no probiotics, and certain foods today, such as supermarket meats, can actually contain antibiotics, which kill off the good bacteria in our bodies. So a standard course of antibiotics can disrupt the balance of the gut for up to 2 years. And I've had personal experience of that, and also with my daughter. My eldest daughter has had skin problems and a seemingly uncontrollable appetite compared to my other 3 children. Emily had a difficult birth as she was given a dose of antibiotics very soon after she was born. I really wish I knew then what I know now, because many drugs, they do wage chemical warfare on essential friendly bacteria as well as harmful ones. And, you know, we have a situation where, you know, drug overuse is caused massive problems. So you should eat a variety of types of probiotics, as each one can offer a different type of beneficial bacteria to help the body in a variety of ways. So some of the foods here, you can see a picture there of kefir, which is similar to yogurt. And this fermented dairy product, it's a unique combination of milk and fermented kefir grains. So kefir has been consumed for well over 3,000 years, believe it or not. It's not a new fad. And the term kefir originated in Russia and Turkey, and it means feeling good. So I think they knew a thing about gut health. It has a slightly acidic and tart flavour, and it contains anywhere from sort of 10 to 34 strains of probiotics. Kefir is similar to yogurt, but because it's fermented with yeast and more bacteria, the final product is higher in probiotics. And then you've got cultured vegetables such as sauerkraut and kimchi, which are made from fermented cabbage and other vegetables. Sauerkraut's not as diverse in probiotics, but it is high in organic acids, which give our food its sour taste and support the growth of good bacteria. And kimchi is a cousin to sauerkraut, and it's the Korean alternative. Both of the fermented formulas are also high in enzymes, which aid digestion. Kombucha is an effervescent fermentation of black tea that is started by using what's called a SCOBY, also known as a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast. Doesn't sound great, does it? But kombucha has actually been around for over 2,000 years, originating around Japan. You've got BioLive natural yogurt, so which is the plain stuff. There's no added sugar, and this is very versatile in your cooking. And there are some great brands around like Onken, Yo Valley, and Rachel's. There's blue cheese. You've got Roquefort, for example, and creme fraiche. Tempeh, which originated in Indonesia, is a fermented soybean product. So you can eat tempeh raw or by boiling it and eating it with miso. And it can also be used as a substitute for meat in stir-fried dinners. And so miso is a Japanese spice found in many of their traditional foods. And if you've ever been to a Japanese restaurant like Yo Sushi, which is my daughter's favorite, you may have tried their miso soup. Apple cider vinegar is also very beneficial, and this is the cloudy version, which contains the mother. You can take this either with in a glass of water with a bit of lemon, or put some into olive oil on a salad as dressing. Sourdough bread is made by fermentation of dough using naturally occurring lactobacilli in yeast. So to summarise then, higher intakes of prebiotics and probiotics are linked to a myriad of benefits, including, lower risk for cardiovascular disease, healthier cholesterol levels, obviously improved gut health and digestion. And it's worth mentioning actually that it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. And so improved mood is something that a lot of people experience when they improve their gut health, because there's a link between the gut and the brain, which actually you could have another whole webinar discussing the gut-brain link. But I won't go into that now. And then you've got elimination of cravings, better hormonal balance and so forth. And then I'd like to talk a bit about two great supplements that Synergy do, which are rich in both prebiotics and probiotics, and that's the Biome Shake and Biome Actives. They come as part of a suite of 5 products that work synergistically and holistically together in the 21-day Purify program, which, as Kim explained yesterday, is designed to detoxify the body, cleanse the digestive tract, and rebalance the microbiome. So the Biome Shake is vegan-friendly meal replacement consisting of 20 grams of high-quality pea protein. The pea protein is equal to whey, but it provides for cleaner energy metabolism and supports a greater diversity in healthy bacteria. So because it's dairy-free, pea protein is an excellent source of protein for vegans, as well as those who may have lactose intolerance or sensitivity. So pea protein is what they call a complete protein because it contains all 9 of the essential amino acids, as well as branched chain amino acids that are important for building muscle tissue. And it's also important to point out that pea protein contains 3 times more L-arginine than whey protein. And this is significant because L-arginine fuels 7 different metabolic pathways that are important for good health. And we know from Nicola's superb talk on cardiovascular health that one of those pathways is the endothelial pathway for the creation of nitric oxide. So Biome Shake contains a blend of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and beneficial fats from sources such as flaxseed and borage oil. It provides 100% nutrition as a meal replacement or snack, and it's gluten-free. It has great tasting vanilla flavour. Well, at least I think it does, but fruit can be added to change the flavour if desired. And so you've got the benefits of microbiome repair with amino acids from quality protein, inulin to feed your friendly bacteria, enhances elimination of waste and toxins, which obviously is very important when you're doing a detox. It supports your digestive and immune system and activates detoxification with broccoli powder and zinc. So if you're using it for breakfast, simply add 2 level scoops with 270 to 300 mils of water and shake or stir vigorously. And make sure you put the lid on properly and don't do what I did. And you can also add kefir to the shake to increase your intake of probiotics. So Biome Actives, they contain both the prebiotics, inulin, and the probiotics, Bacillus coagulans, to provide a favourable environment for beneficial gut bacteria. And this helps maintain the balance of the microbiome in the digestive system and supports healthy detoxification. Bacillus coagulans is a bit of a superstar actually. It's a spore-forming probiotic species that is shelf-stable on its own. So this means there's no need to refrigerate it or worry about it spoiling. And so it's also travel friendly. And Bacillus coagulans is a high lactic acid producing species. So it can withstand the stomach's acidic environment. So it can colonize the intestinal area faster and more effectively than strains such as Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium. And Bacillus coagulans in studies has also been shown to help reduce irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, and inflammation associated with both osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So each capsule contains 1 billion CFU, which is colony-forming units of Bacillus coagulans with inulin. So it rapidly repopulates the gut. So if you're doing the Purify program, you would normally have 3 tablets per day with a meal, and that will be 3 billion CFUs. And as a maintenance dose, 1 tablet a day is absolutely fine. And if you're one of those people who don't like taking capsules, they can be opened up and sprinkled onto foods, which is what I do with my daughter. And Bacillus coagulans is actually a very robust spore, so it can even survive being baked in the oven. So in conclusion, prebiotics and probiotics work together in a mutually beneficial microbial community, and they contribute to improvements in metabolic processes that are tied to both obesity and type 2 diabetes. And it also appears that a healthier gut environment turns off autoimmune reactions and helps the body to metabolize nutrients, including fats, and modulates hormonal and immune functions that control how and where the body stores fats, including in the arteries. So if our microbiome is happy and healthy, we will be happy and healthy. So elite health is possible, and a well-balanced microbiome is the key to achieving it. So if you have any questions about the role of prebiotics and probiotics in relation to your health, or about the Biome Shake and Biome Actives, please do get back to the person who invited you to attend this webinar. And tomorrow night, we are lucky to have Sarah Andrews talking about the microbiome inside and out. And I'm really looking forward to the information and insights that she will be sharing with us. On Sunday the 13th, 8 p.m, Kim Bradley, who has built a successful and growing Synergy business for 7 years, and Kim is my mentor, she will run through the Synergy business opportunity. And I know I always learn something new each time I hear Kim, but more important than her extensive knowledge and passion is her attitude of servant leadership. So do what you can to be on the call. And there will also be an invaluable business accelerator training on the 9th of June for existing Synergy business people and new people who are looking to make the best start possible to their Synergy business. So further details will be available soon. I'd like to thank you all for taking time out of your schedules to listen in tonight. I hope it was helpful. It has been a privilege for me to share it with you. Have a lovely evening. Good night.